anyway, so that's an indie film that we made, and I'm proud of it. You know, like I watch it now, and there's parts that I cringe and I wish I could have done over. But you know, for I think, you know, trying to make it more than just a silly B film, we try to add some serious stuff to it, but at the same time, you got to have some fun. I mean, you can't take it too seriously. It's an alien weed film, but I hope that it kind of proves the model that you can. I don't know. You can make art that showcases your beliefs, and it can have a opportunity to reach people through entertainment and have fun, but at the same time, you know, have a lot of fun. So anyway, anybody here make films? Anybody here got any questions? Any comments? Any insults? What do you guys got out there?
Come on, somebody has to have a question.
Oh, by the way, one thing I got to give it up to our audio department for pulling off what was a fucking miracle. Yeah, I can't believe that worked out. That's pretty. You got to give this guy over here, James Ivakaza, man.
I promise I will plan better next time.
Tech is your worst enemy and your best friend.
Oh,
that's kind of how I look at it. So it was nice hearing some laughs, by the way. I think it was you guys' department.
Yeah, definitely.
Possibly.
Yeah. So anybody got any comments on?
That
oh yeah.
I have a friend of mine who may or may not have a medical marijuana place.
Oh yeah, right.
That DVD case
is in there
behind his counter. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And he was telling me about it, and I was like, weird. I want to get that.
Yeah.
And then I saw that it was going to be screening.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was like, okay, now I've got to check it out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like where this came from.
Yeah, where it came from.
Like,
Huh?
Yeah, how you came about.
You're supposed to be moderating this, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be moderating.
Hey, are you? You're not even in the camera. You might want to sit over here. So we can see you.
Am I in the camera? I'm in the camera. Fine.
We're gonna put this shit on YouTube. Now, you might need to go over here. Are you want to be by Cornelius? We should stay close to Cornelius.
This is my man.
I'm feeling a little alien move there.
My boyfriend, do you not get it?
Well, you guys match. You have the color coordination going.
Hey, it's my boyfriend. Well, thank you.
Well, let me try. He says that to everybody.
He's a player.
Okay, be careful.
He's a
He
player.
said he's my boyfriend too.
So that's the thing.
I'm not sharing.
So the question was, where did this all come from, right? All right, so
Yeah, the inspiration.
the inspiration. Okay, so I've been making films for years, and it's always a battle to try to get money and to try to get anything to really work. So I've been to Hollywood a couple times and pitched stuff, and you know, it's a game that takes forever to get anything really done. And they don't really. And so I came under the radar. I said I'm going to make an alien and marijuana film, and they're like, great. So there's going to be tits. There's going to be ass. There's going to be aliens. I'm like, yeah, it'll have all that. But secretly, I was hoping to subvert it a little bit. I was trying to prove a point that you don't have to. You can have what people call genre elements. People call, and actually still create something. Because I don't think you're limited in writing. It's really whatever you can come up with and whatever your creativity tells you. But you do have to deal with the reality, later of how you're going to pay for everything. But for me, I had access to 7 acres. I had a rubber alien that I found on eBay. I found his head for $45.
Nice.
And I thought it looked pretty good. I think we had a guy spend another couple $100 on the rest of this. And, it's not the top shelf rubber alien. But if you smear some KY on his face, he'll look a little ooey, goo. And that's actually the trick in all those films. If you watch Aliens, James Cameron's Aliens, it's all KY jelly.
Mm-hmm.
So we walked into a Target, me and my bro, with like 7 boxes of KY. Went to the counter. And then the girl's like, well, you guys got a party coming, don't you? Yeah. It's the after party you stay for. Yeah. Right.
Did you
So,
invite her?
should have. Yeah, we should have. But we had to use all that KY for film purposes.
Yeah.
Well,
Most of
there
it.
was a little extra.
There was a little extra, yeah.
Yeah.
I first came across KY. I first came across KY when I was doing a stunt years ago on a film, and I had had my arm set on fire. So like a 300-pound stunt guy comes out with an industrial jar of KY. That was a tube like that big around, like some girth, and this guy comes at me with a big old KY tube, and I'm like, all right, this is the film business. This is the film business. Welcome. So
Was that the casting couch?
Well, at least they brought lube. Sorry. So what was I saying? Something about before I got into the KY.
You're just set on fire.
Okay, so I went down and so basically I had a brother who came back from Iraq with PTSD.
Exactly. That is my question.
Yeah, exactly.
You must have. I'm in a 15-year volunteer American, so and I have family thing.
Right.
So, and what I like on this movie, what can happen when you come back in this country?
Yeah.
No matter you have your friends, each acting different. His friends had to not let him down. I'm not supporting.
Right.
But the you movie is the show what can happen, but the movie show you have a second chance.
Yeah, I really agree with that.
That's what I really amazing on the thing. You make the exchange when all this happens. I find this really. I know it's suicide, and is this
22 a day. There's 22 people that kill themselves a day in the armed forces. So
yeah, and I liked it. With this replaying, as a déjà vu, is a French word. Is things you give them a second chance.
Right, and I agree that.
I really liked it. What can happen, and it's really where they're getting on drugs and everything.
Yeah, right.
And this was so great how you had this reverse and giving a check in sense and going on, and that's what really impressed me.
Appreciate it, because here's the reality: is like, so I spent a year trying to get my brother help. It doesn't, because there's the institutions that we live in. You know, they really do profit off of pharmaceuticals. They profit off of war. They don't really give a shit what happens to your family. They come back and they'll die or kill themselves or whatever happens. There's a whole new batch that'll come through. So really it's up to communities now to work on the issue. Now, as a filmmaker, you want to make movies entertain, but you also you got to think about the life you're living. So this is my life. I had cancer 5 years ago. I had stage 3 testicular and lung cancer. It was the same cancer Lance Armstrong had, to the T. So I didn't use cannabis to treat it at that point, but I've used it since to try to prevent it from happening again. And I saw it working for certain groups of people that it just totally works for. So I look at Hollywood right now. I don't see anything that reflects what's happening to people every day in their real lives. And I think that art should be something that, at times, is a vanguard for the change you want to see. So anyway, there's a little bit of an activist thing to it, but it's also just my reality. I've also had. I'll come out of the closet here and say I've had paranormal experiences which have shown me that the only way to really understand the human condition is to go beyond the mind I would say the conditioning that we have in our culture to say this is what our reality is. And some of these plants like cannabis, but mostly stuff like in the Amazon, the ayahuasca, that kind of stuff, it does open a door to understanding the human condition better. And you can't really purge a lot of that trauma, that PTSD inflicts upon people until you go beyond the limitations that we have with how we view the mind, how we view our experience. So to me, it's a fundamental tool that you have to respect too. I don't think it's all purely recreational at all, but I think that we need that access as a community and as a culture. Otherwise, we're kind of doomed, because we're just going to keep getting put through the meat grinder, constantly, and people are going to feed off of that, whether they're humans that are preying upon you or whether they're aliens, whatever. So it's symbolic of basically parasitical environment that I think we live in, that we get pushed through. So I think you can cure PTSD. I really think that there are other opportunities. I hope when people watch the film, they'll take another look at marijuana and plants and the natural world, and not always be trying to profit off it, not always be trying to downplay. And yeah, you can have your jokes. I mean, I've been around a lot of stoners in the last couple months, couple years, right? Stoner time and Hawaiian time, they're very similar, So, but you gotta, at some point, you can have both. I think you can have your cake and eat it too. Hollywood just doesn't reward it, because it's much simpler to just kind of shove shit down people's throats they've already seen before, get some money and go on to the next thing. Because no one wants to take big chances. So anyway, I hope that kind of explains, why I tried to make the film.
Now, one of the reasons why our group fell in love with the film was because of the underlying PTSD with it, because it's there's not a lot of movies or anything that really, especially here in the United States, that talk about it or deal with it. And it's a very shoved in the corner issue here, but then when you go around the world in other countries and things like that, they all have, which I learned from Richard, they all have the kind of things to help people when their troops come back from war.
Yeah. It's not nearly as profitable though.
Yeah.
It's not. They'll shoot you with Thorazine as soon as you walk into a lab. Every ancient culture that had a warrior culture had a return process. The Spartans had a form of yoga, believe it or not, that they used to do, which people think, the Spartans, they're super tough. they weren't stupid. They were around war 24 hours a day. So they had to adopt different modalities to deal with it. The Israelites, the story of the Israelites going through Canaan, I mean, they had to spend 10 days outside of Jerusalem with their priest out there because they were killing kids, you know? So every culture, the samurai did flower arranging, the samurai did calligraphy,
origami.
Like you know, here's a big samurai guy crying over his origami, but that's what it took, you know, for them to purge. So by not having that, you're creating this backlog of...
I mean, we have football.
We have football. Football's a start. They grab it. That's why men slap each other in the ass in football. Because for a lot.
And baseball.
You know what the problem is? It's not this. The companies,
the companies do make a lot of money.
The society.
Right.
My English is not perfect. The society,
Mm-hmm.
will always not open the eyes. They make hush, hush, hush.
Mm-hmm.
I have certain PTSD too,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not only this in Europe a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and now here in America. In America, I must say, they're more faster opening. Our PTSD or any what is mental illness to abuse, child abuse,
Right.
everything is a hush hush.
Oh
You
yeah.
are not allowed
Because no one knows how to deal with it. No one knows how to
and
fix
and
it.
that's it on page, that's
Push it
people
in the
being
corner.
quiet. They put you on drugs.
Yeah.
And make the pharmacy. So, and now you try me this film opening. I know it's not the best way giving people drugs or the marijuana, but it's the way short. You can't do it the other way.
Well, there got to be other
There's
options
nothing where- yeah.
besides just go home and put a gun in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it comes down to.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Just to lighten it up.
Yeah.
What was the wolf lady about?
Okay, so the wolf lady. Well, first of all, I want to share with you guys a little.
Selfie.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, the self-ship. Okay, it is complicated. I had to ask myself what the hell is the wolf thing about. But I will say this: it's really fascinating. If you go on Amazon right now and you want a coyote's face, a real one, it's $4.95.
Jesus Christ.
I found another one online. I thought maybe it was a fluke. Some guy killed a coyote, ran over in his driveway. He's like, "Fuck it, I'll taxidermy it and sell it on Amazon." So I was like, "Great." And it got kind of morbid because as I was creating that character, I had to go on eBay and find like discarded taxidermy bits, which is really there's a lot of disturbing shit
There's a
out there.
market.
There's a market for everything, trust me.
Yeah.
So the whole point was, and this is my because again we're making a low budget film, and you're trying to find ways to keep people engaged, make an interesting story. The whole thing about her is that in the movie, I don't know how well we played it out. There's that scene where he's in the car and he's getting ready to drive away and he sees a dead coyote. So in the alternate universe where he doesn't go back to the Starleaf Grove and return the plants, he goes a bit of a distance, he hits a coyote crossing the street. And that later becomes what the feral Martha, who's still lost in the woods, uses later to keep herself clothed and that kind of thing. So had he gone forward, that reality would have happened. But it was kind of simultaneously happening anyway once they just opened up all these different universes. So that was the cheap way of trying to create alternate
I was
universes.
just wondering where the fuck she came from.
She's crazy.
Aliens and weed, but where's this wolf lady?
Yeah.
Is she American?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I feel that this is her reflection from her selfies and she not listened.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I saw.
She paid the price for her vanity, basically.
Yeah,
I'm going to make him answer it in Starleaf too.
He just wants me to do. So we're going to. Oh, let me get this guy over there.
Ask us at Starlight. Talk about funding the project. Did you go to anyone else other than on it, or?
No, I mean, and Onnit just gave us T-shirts and candy bars, and they retweet anything that we put with an Onnit, which is nice, which is worth more than money in some cases, because what you're up against in independent film is people don't know who you are, and they don't care, because they've got somebody else coming down that's way more famous than you. We've been using the Russell Hodgkinson play, as much as we can, because his show got popular, and Robert Leashock, who's the producer, he was in a show called Earth Final Conflict, which was a big sci-fi show in the early 2000s. So,
I missed that, yeah.
we're starting to ramp that up, but basically you just gotta hustle and try to get whatever money you can get. And for the sequel, Russell loves the film. He really enjoys the character, and so we're pitching right now to Sci-Fi Channel, and it's gonna be more like a Lost kind of phenomenon where we're gonna explore all these different tangents and whatnot, and explore issues like GMOs, the whole Illuminati thing. I mean, we're gonna go for all of it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And if
Why
we probably,
limit yourself?
Yeah.
Why limit yourself?
Well, you have to, because a lot of people won't put that shit on, because if we stay as independent as we can, we might be able to scoot around a lot of the issues why other people can't. They really can't say that. Their sponsors will say sorry. It's crazy. We have a whole thing now where in the sequel, there's going to be a GMO company that wants to hijack the Starlink genome and then use it as a back door to get in people's heads, which is happening in real life, probably.
Yeah, pretty close.
I wish I was making this shit up, but I'm not. It's actually the truth is stranger than fiction. This is becoming more science than fiction. I hate to say it. You were going to say something?
Yeah. So that you brought up something about like alternate timeline or like parallel universes, sort of like.
Right.
I was not nearly high enough to like catch on to that. Is that what was really happening? Like,
Well, you notice in the movie where it restarts at the end, basically.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much what's happening that whole time. Is just like
I'm from the David Lynch school of I like David Lynch's stuff. I don't always understand half of it.
That's supposed to.
But yeah, I think there's a weird under unconscious logic that I try to follow. And of course, I'm up against limitations with the budget. So you're just trying to find angles you can explore. And, I feel like it makes enough sense to get to the next step, which is, probably a more linear storytelling concept in the sequel. But I also like going down those roads because you find stuff you can't find if you're thinking logically all the time. You have to explore that space, but then you got to bring it back to some kind of tangible reality. Otherwise, your audience will completely give up on you. So I hope you didn't give up. People follow for the most part.
It's like when the dude got eaten by the tree, I'm like, and then he's back all of a sudden. Like, wait, what
There's
the
a lot
fuck
of
just
that.
happened?
There's a
And then
lot of
it's
that.
Yeah, I just took it for,
Count how many times they got killed and brought back.
like
I know.
6.
Another comment on that.
Oh.
So I'm listed as a producer of the movie.
He's a producer, by the
I
way.
know the story since the beginning, and I watched it over a dozen times, and I still get more things out of it.
Same here. I've seen it over a dozen times now, and
What's
it's like,
I
yeah.
don't understand.
What I'm most proud of is that if you watch it high and you smoke different types of weed when you watch it at different occasions, you actually see different movies. So it's got a repeat viewing capability built in depending on the weed that you smoke. That's what I think is the most genius thing we pulled off, is that you can watch it, because I hate watching a movie once and then you forget about it. I like the movies that you spend your whole life watching and over again. I watch Big Trouble in Little China all the time. I love that movie. What were you going to say?
What was the thing you didn't expect most about shooting outside of the woods?
Actual Bigfoot. I'm not lying. So Bigfoot's going to be in the sequel.
Nice.
I'm not shitting you, man. I was out there in the woods, and I'm scouting all over the Olympic Peninsula, right? And I've heard a lot of shit in the woods. And then one day, I hear this, like a monkey, something like that. And I was like, that's not a bird. It's not a squirrel. It's not a bear. It's not a deer. The fuck is it, man?
Not a moose fucking a bear.
It's not a moose fucking a bear. It's not. We don't have monkeys in the Olympics, do we? I don't know, man. That freaked me out. I left. I got the F out of there. I don't know if I can take a chances. And then the funny thing about Bigfoot is you can joke around all about, the guy in the suit and if that's a guy in the suit or not. But Joe Rogan had a show briefly on the paranormal on Sci-Fi, and he supposedly debunked a lot of other stuff I don't completely believe, but he couldn't debunk Bigfoot, mainly because there's a lot of weird, almost like Stonehenge like tree formations that pop up in the woods. They have no explanation for. They have these trees that are being broken at 8 feet of height with no saw marks or any kind of whatever. It's not snow, and a lot of them are set up in some sort of organized fashion. So he had no explanation for it, and they're cropping up more and more. They're almost like crop circles.
Is that the Survivor Man guy?
And Survivor Man
He quit
came
Survivor
out,
Man
exactly. He
to
got so freaked
start
out.
That he's focusing his whole thing on that now because
He
he
is.
started coming across that.
And you have to take him seriously. Like you have to take, I think, UFOs because I don't want to keep going out here, but pilots whose job it is to understand meteorological phenomena, when they're the ones and they lose their $100,000 a year job if they start saying weird stuff. So when you get evidence from these people, I feel like you kind of have to take it a little bit more seriously.
I have pictures. I have 4 posts
Oh,
around.
I know you do. In Germany?
No, here.
In the Black Forest?
I live here in Lakewood.
In Lakewood? Yeah, Bigfoot in Lakewood?
And I meet Stock the guy.
I'm not moving to Lakewood anytime soon.
I have pictures.
Is he nice?
internet, and it's 4 faces. I have no glasses.
Yeah.
I have no frame.
All right.
And it's reflecting on my porch, and you can see the faces. The one is a French face. You can see the eyes and everything. You can see all this.
Well, this is going to save us money in our special effects budget for the next. Going to your porch.
I know, and I'm really, I'm not totally in spirit, but I have learned leave them alone.
Yeah, it's always a good idea.
The other time is, I think, when they say ghost was a spirit, they're not finished with their section. And then,
Sure.
I believe something into a spirit. I mean, not in crazy stuff, but I never denied it.
I agree. What were you going to say?
The high aerial shots.
Yeah.
Did you do those yourself, or were those borrowed?
It's combo. It's drones, and now are really, as much as I hate the idea of drones, for filmmaking, they're pretty awesome. They give you shots. We had one drone guy out of Redmond who helped us with some shots, but then we also went online and got footage, got stock footage of it when we could. I mean, some of those mountains I think are in Russia. So,
So real quick, my mom and my girlfriend gave me a whole bunch of shit for coming to watch this movie. And they literally just texted me asking if us three were the only three in here watching this.
I'm glad you guys
stayed.
stayed.
They said picture, it didn't happen, so I was just wondering if I could take
a picture,
Go
man.
for it,
Prove, prove to the world.
That's cool.
I call it a B plus
Cool
movie.
with that?
That's what I call
Hold
it.
on, let's get Cornelius.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's make this right.
Prove to the world that normal people will sit through this. Semi-normal. Oh yeah, have him watching. He's always watching.
Oh, somebody take my come up and make a picture.
We'll get it.
They're related.
Oh, you're gonna give us the hype, yeah.
Why did everyone get quiet when I talk?
I know, right?
This is proof.
Thank you, guys.
Living proof.
That area was, I really liked it.
Good. For an indie,
sure,
for an indie, people don't really expect
It looks
much
really
these
good.
days. So
What kind of
The
camera was
area
the shot
really
on?
the tree with the bumps, or that you had
those tree bumps were real. They're
Yeah, I've seen them.
they're real bumps. They're out in the Olympic Mountains. If you go up to Beach 1 and Beach 2, you'll find them out there. It's crazy. So I just wrote them into the script.
You use that camera.
Is that the 5D?
That's
We use
the
this camera,
film.
right?
That's
This is
the
the camera
camera
that shot
that
the
was
movie on,
used.
right there.
This is the camera the movie shot.
This is the movie we shot the camera on. The movie we shot the camera on. Well, it's a legacy high kicking in right now. Anything else?
Does anyone else have any more questions?
We're going to give away DVDs and autograph them if you guys want them, and posters if you want them.
Anyone want to get some pictures and stuff? Yeah, we
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
Get some
Anybody
pictures, Cornelius?
Anybody else got any?
I want to hug the alien.
Oh, we're going to get one with you. Don't worry.
Anybody else got a question?
Last minute.
Is there a Starly strain?
Yes, there is.
Good question.
We had it for a while. That's why some of the medical shops had to film, because we had a strain going. Because of the recent law changes, we had to shelve it for now, but we're redeveloping it, and we're trying to find a strain that combats PTSD. We're also trying to find just a great old blast off, But it was selling really well. It was doing good. So we've got a guy in Oregon we're talking to now, and we're trying to reconstruct the whole thing in here in Washington. Washington's the most overregulated state, and it's really difficult to get anything going, but we're getting close to that. But yeah, we have a whole merchandise line that we're going to launch, and I want Starlight to be kind of like a DIY culture filmmaking and self-help kind of thing. I want it to be kind of a gateway film, if you will, to seeing the world a little bit differently, realizing that you can make your own art. The problem with independent film is it's usually terrible, and there's parts of Starlight that aren't great, but I think it holds up as entertainment and a bit of a message to kind of get people to think a little bit differently.
It did a way better job of keeping my interest, besides the funny,
it was still engaging even with the comedy, right?
But it looked really good right from the start. The acting was better than a lot of independent
It's
stuff
a lot
I've
better.
seen.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the acting.
And I mean, because I act in a lot of independent films.
Yeah, you know the deal. It's hard.
And yeah, it's ridiculous.
It can work. It can really be wonderful when it works.
And that was really impressive. Because, again, it looked good, and it didn't go places that I thought it was going to go.
Right. Could have gone really dumb.
Take the easy way out.
Could have done easy, yeah.
And
that's what I'm trying to prove.
Much more profitable for you.
Well, it would have been. I could have had more boobs in it. But and then we would have. The aliens were here.
See what happens.
Yeah. No, but let's talk later. If you're an actor, I could use you.
Yeah. Used to hitting you.
I didn't know there was one right there.
What's that? Maybe, yeah. With weed. I mean, it's so easy to just be silly with weed, But, cannabis has cured people. I mean, it's like, if you take cannabis for epilepsy, it's almost a cure, and no one in the pharmaceutical world is doing that, Nature does that for you for free. So it's kind of silly. It's fun. I mean, I've seen people. I get stoned. I'm an idiot when I'm stoned. But I'm not going to let that stop somebody who's really, really benefiting from it. Because I've had cancer. I've had serious diseases that almost killed me. So I take it seriously, but at the same time, you know, have a little fun.
I'm a survivor, and I know how this is.
Dabs.
4 times.
Jeez. 4 times a charm, let's hope.
But I like not have a lung cancer.
That's not fun either, yeah.
That's really not fun.
What were you going to say?
That was something that I really liked about the movie. Is at first it had just a really serious overtone,
right.
And then towards the middle that just kind of, or you know, towards that second fifth, it sort of went away, and then it came back in the middle once, you know, after they smoked the star leaf and everything, and then there was just another section that's just crazy, and then at the end it came full circle and went back to just tie up the loose ends at the beginning.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, I just think that you have to work within your but I believe in the second chance, and that's what's missing from a lot of our modern culture, because no one knows what to fucking do about their mind.
People say it on the end, it is shooting in the head.
Right.
That's when he remember when he gives everybody second chance, and that's what I like to say.
The second chance is deep within. I know this is going to get out there metaphysical, but it's deep within every human being. You can't get to it through a lot of established methods. You can't get to it by thinking. But there are, and what I see right now happening with support groups, like there's a 22 Many group out of Olympia, by having the camaraderie again, having someone there, that's a big help, that someone cares. And so that's the avenue back. You know, it's not going to be something you can intellectually figure it out. You can't get a pharmaceutical to figure that out for you. Those are all just sort of coping systems, and unfortunately, exploiting systems as well. You know, so it's kind of like I see the only way out of all of this is through art that might be able to kind of just open up a few doors to some other alternative ways of trying to deal with this stuff. But it has to be done. It's not actually, I don't think of it as just a game anymore, or just an exercise, or I mean, it's something that's really, really hurting our world and our country. I mean, it's really fucking shit up. So
that's the way it is when I'm goofing around on any conventions. I'm goofing around. I've been a child in my kindergarten. I'm goofing around. Some people think, and then when they hear talk to me, they say, "Damn, you have maybe a wrong attitude, a wrong opinion." And I try hiding it. You see.
I think having some new opinions is not going to hurt.
Does Vivian repeat? Has he seen this?
Vivian? Oh, from
Hempfest.
Hempfest. Talk to this lady back there. She's with Hempfest.
Okay,
I think he knows about the film. I just saw him last night, actually.
We used to be many long.
So wait, you just saw him last night, but you don't know if he's seen it yet?
I don't know. He was running around managing hemp.
Are you doing? You live in Seattle?
Yeah, I live in Seattle.
So I do a little acting.
Okay.
In English. I did in Germany a lot.
Well, give me a card later. I'll give you a card. We'll figure it out. He seems to like you, by the way.
All right, guys. So I want to thank everyone for coming
Free
and watching
DVDs,
this movie. Appreciate it.
posters.
It's on iTunes now, but
It's on iTunes.
come
Tell
on
your
up
friends.
here, tell your friends,
Yes.
and I'd really love it if you maybe just went on iTunes and give
Oh
it a
my God.
rating, or on
yeah.
IMDb.
You guys have a
Tell
really-
everyone you loved it a
Can
lot.
I give it a 6?
If you can,
'Cause I
I'll
wanna
take
give
a
it
6. Whatever, I can get one. No, if you guys really
That's what she
seriously-
said.
Yeah, bare minimum. Bare minimum. So I swear though, it would really help us if you guys did go on IMDb or iTunes and tell a friend about it, because all that extra rating helps.
So,
All right, thanks guys.
if you want a poster and a DVD, just
Yes.
please come
Yeah, there
right
you go.
up over
I
here.
had to
And
upstairs
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
Mr. Doon. He had my books. I had a lot of books from him.
Okay.
So he signed it, and she likes to have a picture with my.